welcome to the Twitch podcast. I'm Paul Boniface, and I'm delighted for this issue to be able to introduce you to Vicki Diane. Vicki, good morning.
Good morning to you, and I'm extremely happy and flattered to be here. Thank you.
Well, we're very honoured to have you, so thank you very much for coming in. I'd like to start off really by asking you about your connection to Nantwich. What is it? What do you do? And how did you get here?
Okay, well, I'm a Londoner. I was born in London. I don't actually know how I got here, but the easiest way to say it is that my husband is a Cumbrian, right? So he's more of this part of the world. And when I met him, he was in television and we lived in London. And for both of our work purposes, I was a singer. And when he retired early, we wanted to move on somewhere. And his daughter is in this area. So we headed up here and she found us a place in Knutsford.
Oh, yes.
Which I wasn't terribly keen on. I don't know. Anyway, in the meantime, we wanted to live somewhere a bit warmer. So at that time, I had already started making jewellery, as I had semi-retired from my profession as a singer and pianist. I used to travel a lot and worked very, very unconventional hours. And I had a lady who was selling my jewellery for me in Spain. I used to do markets, everything. I was doing craft fairs, and I decided when Bill asked me if I would like to live somewhere warmer, I said yes immediately, and we sold up and moved to Spain.
Oh.
Yeah.
Whereabouts in Spain, may I ask?
We went to Nerja, which is near Malaga, Costa del Sol. First of all, we lived in Mallorca for 19 months, and then the next 22 years were spent in Spain.
Goodness me. And you already had an interest in jewellery and art and your profession, of course.
That's the only thing really that I excelled at school was art, music and sport, funnily enough. And I chose that path. The jewellery making, it was a hobby, and since has become, well, I have a shop on Etsy for 20 years now. I was one of the first people to start that. So we went to Spain. My husband actually lasted about 5 years and realised that he missed England, missed his daughter, missed the snow, missed the beer.
I can see.
Didn't miss any of that. But so we bought back in England, and that's when Knutsford came up, and we both weren't that keen. So I don't know how he found Nantwich. I think his daughter said it was a little gem hidden away, and he loved it. Asked me if I did. I came back and agreed. It is beautiful. If it had sea all around it, I would say it is as good as Spain. But I stayed out there mostly and continued my jewellery making. Bill used to travel backwards and forwards. Eventually, I came back here in 2020 full time to look after him, as his health is not very good. So that's how come I'm here now permanently.
Right, excellent. And Nantwich suits you.
I do love it. I love the people. I love what's on offer here. So much to do and see and take a part in, which now is a part of my life. And yes, I think it's full of wonderful, wonderful things to do, and very, very nice people like yourself, of course.
Wow, that's kind of you to say so. But we have a mutual connection in the person who set up Nantwich Info, of course.
That's correct.
And you are the official photographer for Nantwich
Info,
I believe.
I was absolutely overwhelmed when I was asked, because I take photographs for a hobby. I've done that for many years, and that started with having to take photographs of my jewellery to sell it, or to put it online. And I used to love doing the backdrops more than the jewellery, so I would go around Spain looking for the most marvellous backdrops. In the end, I became more interested in photography than actually making my jewellery.
And if people were interested, where would they go to see an example of your photography? Which website would be the best one, perhaps, to go and see some of the pictures of?
I show my things on the Nantwich Info Facebook page, and then on Instagram I'm very active. So at the moment I haven't got an up and running website, but I did have, and I shall have again very soon.
But certainly if people want to see, and I've seen it on Nantwich Info.
Yes.
And you know, because I like them or love them mostly,
yeah,
with that little heart.
Thank you.
And they're the most marvellous photographs. And you seem to have taken an enormous amount. I believe you were set a challenge, weren't you?
Yes. Was it last year or this year? I can't remember.
Last year, I think it must have been.
I don't know how I did it. Honestly, it was 365 days. And I think I missed 3.
So you were set a challenge of taking a photograph every single day
of the
year.
Liz said she'd do it with me, and I think she did a couple of weeks, actually. She did very well. But I carried on because there were so many things to do. I had a backlog anyway of hundreds, because they incorporate animals, because I love animals so much, and I have Nantwich's dogs, people, businesses, anything that opens up. I want to be a part of it. I want to go first. That's one excuse. And it's all over the internet, actually. Other groups I put it on. But all over Facebook, if you look at Vicki Diane Designs, I'm all over.
And is that the same for Instagram? Is that the same link?
Yes.
Vicki Diane Designs.
Vicki Diane Designs, yeah. That incorporates my jewellery, my everything, my life, but all colourful photographs by myself, yeah.
So it sounds very much as though art has been quite a big part of your life. And I think you mentioned earlier on, when you were talking about your school days, that was one of the things you excelled at, along with sport.
Sport, yes.
Tell me a bit about the sport.
Yeah, I don't know how it is. I mean, was extremely. I am tall. I'm very tall. I don't know. My sister she loved scrums and hockey. I didn't. I hated that. I hated my hair being pulled, etc. So I was a tennis player. I was a school county player, and I threw the javelin. I have a very strong right arm for the county, and also the discus and shot. I mean, that's very masculine, but I'm not masculine at all. I mean, I just loved throwing things.
Well, it's one way to deal with the teenage angst, isn't it?
So it was tennis really, and athletics. Absolutely love. And when the Olympics comes around, I don't go out at all.
I used to work with somebody who would always take the 2 weeks of Wimbledon off work.
Yes, as well.
And my mum was a massive tennis fan, so we were brought up pretty much on the local rec while she was playing tennis.
Wonderful.
So I know what you mean. It's
nothing like it. Is
a lovely pastime to do. And very sociable as well, isn't it?
Exactly. I do miss those days because I have very dodgy knees now. I've had many operations. So that's why probably I do more art and creating. I'm a creative person. I love
But going back a little bit, where were those early days?
Right. I'm a Londoner and I was brought up by the seaside in southeast England, in Hastings. My father was a film director, but suffered from ill health. He had TB. And my mother was a nurse. And she met him while she was nursing him, and for his therapy, and he was told to go and live by the seaside and get fresh air, and so they moved. Our family, I have a brother and sister, we moved to the southeast coast and had a hotel. So I was brought up in a hotel.
Fantastic.
Which was wonderful. I loved it, by the sea, and I still miss. That's the only thing I miss about Nantwich, really, is not having water nearby.
Well, I can understand that. I had my primary school years in the Midlands on a farm, and my secondary school years down on the coast on Hayling Island,
oh, right.
which was not far away. So I miss that kind of seascape. And I was thinking yesterday, it was some very high winds, a bit stormy yesterday, and it was always lovely down by the coast because it would whip up a bit, and good for photography.
Absolutely. And the noise of the seagulls, I just miss that so much. Yes. My sister will phone me when they're overhead so I can hear them.
How did you make the move into the world of art then? Which was the first? Was it the singing? Was it the art? Was it the jewellery?
Well, my father made his last film he made. I was in it, and it was called Operation Amsterdam. It was a massive movie. It was premiered at the Odeon in Leicester Square.
Wow.
And starred Peter Finch and Tony Britton. I don't know if you know. You're probably too young. Of course you are, like me. And Eva Bartok. And that was Film of the Year 1959 or 58 or 9. And he was very artistic, getting back to your point. He did murals in our conservatory in the hotel, and he was always sketching. He was wonderful. My mum was a pianist. She was a nurse, but that was her passion, was classical music. And so we all learnt to play the piano at about 4 or 5 years old. And I learnt dancing at that age. So I wanted to do anything to do with the arts. I didn't care what it was. And I actually got a scholarship to go to Arts Educational later on in life, which I went to London, back to London. And I didn't stay there very long because I actually don't like being told what to do. So I'd left school at 16 for that reason, which doesn't sound very good, does it? So,
well, so did I.
I'm sorry. Did you? I'm glad you said that.
I had a brief flirtation with college, but we also agreed to disagree.
So I went my ways, and my ways was doing cabaret. So I was a singer, and I danced, and I played the drums as well. I played in the Hastings Youth Orchestra, so I could play timps, I could do, I can't think of what they're called now, paradiddles. I was paradiddling all over the place, and I was just...
Now, I'll have to stop you there with the paradiddling, because I've never heard that phrase before.
No, it's military drumming. I followed all sorts of drumming. But the one thing that I really loved was art. I mean, that was always my sideline, and I sold my pictures. When I was going through my wild hippie days, and I really, really did take part in those, barefoot and bells and stuff. And I used to sit in cafes and do cartoons of people for a plate of baked beans and stuff like that when times
In
were
this
tough.
country?
In this country, in London and on the South Coast. So, yeah, that was my... I never got paid for my art until later on. And then I did commissions, which I do now for pets.
Okay, so is that also through your website, through your Instagram, and
Yes.
or when you meet people personally?
Facebook, mostly.
Okay. So
yes.
people contact you through those two mediums.
Yeah, I do.
And then you will
quite
do
well.
a portrait for them.
Exactly. So last Christmas, I had about a dozen of people's beautiful wet-nosed dogs I just love them. I love drawing a dog. I love seeing dogs. I stop dogs in the street and take photos of them. And I don't know if it's healthy or not, but I just do it.
Well, it's certainly sweet. And perhaps that's the wrong word to use, but I've seen a few of them on Nantwich Info's Facebook page, and yes, you can instantly tell that you're an animal lover.
Absolutely. But our honeymoon night, we went to safari, and that was magical. I could do that again. Not the honeymoon, the safari.
An African safari?
Yeah, in Kenya, in Tsavo East Park. Amazing. So yeah, I have an affiliation with animal print in every way. I can wear it, I can sit on it. I mean, I'm surrounded by it at home and usually wear it, a lot of it. Yeah.
Well, yes. I mean, the listeners can't see this, but you're wearing a kind of pair of short gloves.
Yes, it's only my gloves, not only my coats, my bags.
And that's a leopard or a ocelot?
Whatever.
Something like that.
You know better than I do. But yeah, I must have that surrounding me. Yeah, that's my art thing. At the moment, I've taken a bit of time off because my husband has been very poorly, and I'm back in creative mode because it's now springtime, so I'm very, very happy we've reached this time in the year.
Well, you certainly had a wide variety, and obviously influenced by your parents, by the sounds of it, with the caring side of it, with your mother being a nurse, and also then with your father being a director.
Well, he wanted me to act, and I wanted to act. I thought that was what I'd do.
What made you not act then? You did one film?
I was so small. I had two parts in it, and I died twice as well. I don't know. When I went to this arts educational school, I didn't like the drama side of it. You know, pretend you're a cushion and throw yourself around. And I didn't like that. And I liked the singing part of it, and I liked that. So I went on to pursue that, and I did cabaret for a long time, and I travelled to many, many countries. I never stayed in England to work because I followed the sun. When I was 19, I went to Nassau in the Bahamas. I didn't know anybody. I just packed up and went, and I stayed there 6 years.
Goodness gracious me.
Yeah, I had a job within a week at the Anchorage Hotel, which was right on the beach, and I loved it. And then I worked in the casinos, playing the piano, and after that I've worked in the Emirates. I was there for a couple of years. And I lived in America. I lived in Fort Lauderdale, so I was doing all over, and I could start again tomorrow if I took off 20 years.
Well, that's such a fascinating period of your life. When you were young and you were with your film director father and your mother, did any people come to visit? Did you see many of the stars of the day? Obviously, you're working with Peter Finch.
I was very young. Yeah, apparently there were quite a few that used to come by. It sounds awful. I remember the funeral, and I remember Mum telling me that was so and so, and that was so and so. No, that wasn't the direction I took, but I'm glad I did take after him in the painting because he was an artist. He did a wonderful, which I've put on Facebook quite a few times, a bronze self-sculpture of facial. It's absolutely brilliant, and I thought maybe I'll try sculpting, but that didn't appeal.
He sculpted in bronze, a self-portrait, as it were.
Absolutely brilliant. It was life-size. It was beautiful. My brother has it, and I'm fighting him for it.
Goodness me.
He was an amazing talent, and he died. He was only 42 when he died.
Wow, to have achieved a lot. What was his background?
Absolutely. I don't know. He was in partnership with Douglas Jr. Fairbanks Jr. Yeah, for about 5 years. They did many things together, and television series, The Buccaneer, things like that.
Wow.
Millions of people. We used to have posters all over the hotel, huge pictures of him. There's one with James Hayter, I don't know if you remember him. Buster Keaton, he worked with. Big stars, all black and white, and a lot of propaganda, war films, a lot. If you Google him, it's hundreds of movies that he made at a very young age. Incredible.
Would you feel comfortable telling us his full name?
Yes, Michael McCarthy.
Michael McCarthy. Okay, well, we can certainly look that up, and I certainly will.
Well, wonderful. But his I say his last film, Operation Amsterdam, is shown on British television every Easter, every Christmas, and on Sky Arts.
Is it a war
Talking
film?
pictures, yeah. Smuggling diamonds out of Amsterdam. We lived in Amsterdam for about 6 months while I was going. And I have this wonderful. I love Dutch people as well, so that came out of it.
Is there something particular you like about the Dutch? Because I agree with you. I like meeting Dutch people.
They're just wonderful. Their humour is similar to the British humour, I think. And there were many that lived in Spain, many Scandinavians and many Dutch. They were our friends, and they had bars out there because they wanted to escape their weather as well. Yeah, I love Dutch people.
I've always found them refreshingly honest.
Exactly.
So they've got a bit of the British about them, but they've also kind of don't have our roundabout the houses thing. If they want to say something, they'll say it, won't they?
I do agree, yeah.
And I think that's a nice trait. And a lot of them are tall, of course, Vicki, like you.
They are indeed. The average height, there was a guy with the bar in Nantwich where we lived, and I think he was 6'6", and he said, no, that's sort of average for us.
It must be all the dairy products, I guess.
Wow, yeah. Oh, wonderful people, yeah.
Terrific. So here you are now in Nantwich, and your principal interests are the photography and the jewellery.
And the pet portraits, I'm starting again because I proved that I haven't lost my eye. I thought I had. It takes me a while. I'm not quick, and I'll do it until it's right. It could be 1 week, 2 weeks, even longer. But yeah, I'll get it right.
So, fast forwarding a couple of years, do you see yourself for the moment being here, or is the appeal of the sun going to drag you off somewhere?
I'm looking forward to travelling more, maybe in the future. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing my family. I haven't been able to go south for maybe once a year, that's all.
Is that Hastings? Are they still based in Hastings?
Yeah, they didn't leave. They did not leave where they were brought up, and I couldn't wait to get away. But now I want to go back out, maybe to live, but definitely to visit and catch up.
It's certainly changed a lot down on the south coast. I mean, it went through that very vibrant period, maybe in the 60s, and I can remember it down on Hayling, when there was a lot going on. People used it as a holiday destination. People from London would come down every summer.
Actually.
That's when they had their holidays down there. Well, it helped me because it gave me some employment in the fairgrounds and in the bingo halls and stuff like that.
Is that what you did?
Yes. So that was nice. But then it went through a very decaying period, I think, the South Coast.
So much.
Now I believe it's coming back, and it's coming back partly because of culture. If you think, where's Tracy Emin got her place? Oh, Margate, isn't it?
Margate.
Yeah. And Hastings itself, of course, has also now become more of a tourist attraction, I would say.
Yeah, and it has had a facelift, thank goodness.
Yes.
The old town I absolutely adore. I could live in the old town. Just so full of wonderful people and buildings and pubs. My goodness, I was brought up there in those pubs. At Brighton also, my grandparents lived there, and we had a house there for 4 or 5 years before we moved to Spain. And I love Brighton. I absolutely love Brighton. And that's my husband. I was in the lanes selling my jewellery, and that's quite an achievement to get in there. And you had to man it yourself, hire a window basically, and it was doing quite well because it's very over the top, my stuff. It's very over the top. And my husband, who had no background of anything artistic whatsoever, used to go in and sell for me while I went home and made it. It took all. I mean, anything goes in Brighton.
Yes. Well, it's always been known as a fairly free environment, hasn't it?
Extremely. I loved it there, but he didn't at all. No, that was out of his comfort zone. But yeah, that part of the world I miss enormously. Honestly, I do love Nantwich. I really do. I'd be sad to leave.
Well, it's great to hear your story, and I really appreciate you've got such an interesting background, and we're very fortunate to have you in the town. And certainly, just speaking for myself, the photographs you do of Nantwich are amazing. And I have seen some of the pet photography you've done as well, and that also is terrific. And so maybe just remind us once more, how people can contact you.
Yeah, well, Facebook and Instagram are my main. I post every single day. I promote people every single day, and that is Vicki Diane or Vicki Diane Designs. I have a business page, which is the latter, and I am to be found on the Nantwich Info group most days, posting when I don't have to, 365 times. I'll do it maybe twice a week now, which is more fun. So that's where I am to be found at the moment, and another website, hopefully, or the same one, starting again soon.
That's absolutely terrific. Well, look, I'd like to say thank you very much for coming in and talking to us here on the Twitch podcast. and we look forward to anything that you produce in the future.
Oh, thank you for making it so easy.
Oh,
I was very nervous, but thank you.
Well, you're very welcome.
Thanks, Paul.
Vicki Diane, good luck with everything you do.
Thank you so much.